I think it's social studies.
So the topic we were talking about last week and that we'll be discussing today as well is quite related to social studies. Do you agree?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you. We'll talk some more about family. Okay. So before we do this, I just want to show you, we read this last time. But in today's lesson, we need to use the vocabulary words from the words here in pink. I'm going to just change it so that we can see both at the same time. I need to pull this one out. Okay, I will put them side by side. So we need to fill in the missing words. But before we do that, can you quickly tell me, just recap, what were we discussing? What do you remember?
Mm, I don't really remember.
Okay, so it was about, do you remember what a dink is?
Yes, I
Okay,
think.
yes.
Someone who don't want to have any children.
Yes, so it stands for dual income, no kids, right? And
Yeah.
we were talking about people's different opinions about that. So here, I'm just I'm just trying to fit this all on the screen so you can see the words that we need to use. There we go. Okay. Right. Not quite. Okay. So nonsense. Oh my goodness. It's tricky. Okay. You know what nonsense is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we have nuclear family, filial. Do you remember filial?
Filial, yes, means close family, not extended ones.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Admirable.
Admirable. You admire something.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
And when
something.
when something is composed of,
Composed of. Let me look. Composed. It is made of
yes,
different ingredients.
yes, or materials, right? I
Yeah.
think responsibility, you have some responsibilities coming up soon. Enrich.
Enrich and enlighten, make us feel happier.
Yes, it's not necessarily rich like money. It means to add value. Yes, selfishly, I think you know, respectable. Slave, I think you know this. Slave,
Slave.
yes.
You are working for someone.
Yes, and in the old days, many years ago, people used to kidnap people and sell them. And they would treat them badly a lot of the time, and they would work for no money. So, that was quite a terrible thing. And today we use it maybe in a different context or in the same context. We can say someone is a wage slave. Can you figure
Wait.
out? Yes. So a wage is like the salary you get paid, what you get paid for your work. So if you are a wage slave, it means you have to work very hard and you just earn a little bit of money and it's just enough to survive. So it's kind of like modern day slavery where people get paid the bare minimum and maybe they have to work 2 or 3 jobs and it's hardly enough to make ends meet. So in some way, I think slavery still exists, but on a different in a different way. Okay. Retirement.
Retirement. Retire.
Yes. Okay. So
I'm tired.
you are old, you stop working.
Yeah. Retired
Yes.
like
Or you just have a lot of money and you don't need to work, so you can retire early.
yeah.
Okay. So we need to use these words. Choose suitable words to complete over here.
Okay. Jim and Tony talk about the concept of family. Tony thinks that is let me look. That is nonsense for people to only focus on their uh, nuclear family.
Very good.
He's concerned about people's people's filial duty. Jim has a different filial duty. Jim has a different thought altogether. He wants to be a dink and thinks that happy life can be composed of just two people. He also thinks that having children is a big responsibility, and a couple can't really enjoy their lives if they have children. On the other hand, Tony thinks kids enrich our lives, and that not having kids means we just uh, live selfishly for ourselves. So it seems that people can have quite different family and lifestyle concepts.
Yes. Okay, so how are these two texts alike and how are they different?
Uh, the first text is a dialogue, and the second one have no dialogue, but it's made a conclusion. He takes
Yes.
the important parts from the dialogue into this paragraph.
Yes, yes. So um, it's almost like direct speech and reported speech, although the second one isn't technically reported speech because reported speech would be he said, she said. But it's very close. I think they just replaced the word talk with think and to be concerned. So yeah, in a way, it is reported speech. Mm. Yeah, it is actually reported speech. Instead of saying he says, he thinks. I think that's just what they did there. Okay. So let's open this one again on full page. Okay. All right. So, how do you feel about the idea of a parent as a friend?
I think that's possible. You can your parents can be your friends. You can share your thoughts with them.
Yes, yes. We have different aspects to our relationships with people, and for some people it's not possible, but I think it's very good when there can also be a level of friendship. Yes. So here are some tips for being friends with your parents. And I want you to read this and then tell me if you've done any of these things, or if there are some of these things that you would like to try, or give examples that are similar of things that you have done. Okay, so you can read out loud for me, please, over here. Number 1.
Okay, tips for being friends with your parents. Do something social with your parents and get to know who they are as people. Join your parents in their hobbies and let them take part in yours. Don't take things for granted. Children, sometimes adults, often see their parents as bank clerks, chefs, or housekeepers. Instead of letting your parents do everything for you, share in tasks and be responsible for your actions. If you have left home, you should only rely on your parents for help when you really need it, not just because it's convenient. Number 3, take part in family activities such as birthdays or visiting elderly relatives. That'll make relationships stronger.
Yes, okay. So do you agree?
Yes, I think I agree.
Okay. And can you tell me So which of these things have you tried with your family?
Yes, I think I do.
Mhm.
Just don't skip the number 3 one because I do that every time.
Yes. Okay.
I think I did all of them
Mm,
because the times wouldn't very just it is not very often.
yes. Okay. And can you think of some other ideas that you could add to this list?
Uh, you can sometimes share your thoughts with them in a nice kind of way.
Yeah, so you can share your experiences, tell your stories about your day. Maybe you're having some trouble with a friend at school, or something's going on in your life. Um, or you've made a new friend and you want to share the news. Yes. And the same, ask them about their interests, ask them about their lives and how their day was, and listen and be interested. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's just take a look at vocabulary here. Social, okay, I think referring to friendly relations with people, to take part in something, to participate or to join, to take part in a performance, to take something for granted. It says here to value it or value something or someone too lightly. So we have so many good things in our lives, I think, that we take for granted. Some things we just expect. And I think that is normal for people to take some things for granted sometimes. But we need to be mindful of that. And okay, I want you to use each of these words or expressions in a sentence for me, please.
Social. I mean, every word or just one word. I didn't.
They don't need to all be in the same sentence, if that's what
Okay.
you are asking.
Okay. Uh, Social. Uh, he always joins the social activities of his family, and he has a tight bond between he and his cousins.
Okay, take part.
Take part. Uh, she takes part of this this activity, and she helps us organize our ideas.
Okay, and to take something for granted. So of course you can replace this.
Okay. Uh, she my brother always take oh, I don't say my brother because it's kind of rude to him.
Yeah,
This
maybe.
takes love for granted, and
Yes.
and just and let me think. This boy takes love for granted, and,
Mm.
and think
Just
uh whatever he does, his mother was still uh the word was still I can't remember the word.
mm.
I'll
Okay.
change the sentence. Teacher, can I look at the example up in the dialogue?
Mm. Okay. So I can give you some examples. Okay, well, yeah, let's quickly take, I'll give you here. Okay. Don't take things for granted. Okay. So you could say she takes her grandparents for granted. She always asks them for money, but she never wants to spend time with them. Or
Okay.
mm, he takes his kind teacher for granted, and he's always noisy in the classroom, something like that. maybe not such a good example. He's very spoiled. He has many toys, but he takes it for granted. He just leaves them outside in the rain.
Okay, I think I got an example. Uh, she takes, he takes his kind father for granted and always asks him for money and never know how to, never, never paid it back before.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's see over here. Okay, so these are just some useful expressions that we've spoken about. And I think we can go on to the next one. There was something here. Okay. No, we can go on to the next one. Okay, so it says here families are very close in China. We won't be talking about China. We'll be speaking about Taiwan. So I want you to think about the differences between Taiwanese and American families, if you can think of some differences.
Let's talk about couples. I've heard that, can I make an example of European
Yes,
couples
of
and
course.
Chinese couples? Chinese couples don't really like European couples sometimes, as I've heard, hug and kiss each other in the public, but in Taiwan, we don't do that. We help each other take heavy things or hold our hands together to share our love.
Okay, yes, that's very interesting. That's a very good example. Okay, so what does it mean when you are dependent?
I don't know. So
Okay, when you depend on someone, I depend on you. It means that you need them. Now, the word dependent can have a negative meaning. So when people are overly dependent, it means they're very needy and they need help with everything and they don't really function very well by themselves. So all babies are 100% dependent, right?
we
But
can't do
it's
it.
normal to, yeah, but we all depend on others. So it's normal to be dependent to some extent. But when people are overly dependent or codependent, that can be bad. But to be too independent can also be bad. It can alienate you from people. People who are very independent sometimes have a hard time asking for help when they need it. So they might end up with problems like burnout and stress from being overly independent. And so do you live with your parents? I think yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so in that sense you are dependent, but I mean it is perfectly natural at your age to live with your parents. I think if you were 40 years old and you were healthy and you were capable of you know
We want
um,
to
unless of
depend.
course your parents are old and you need to take care of them.
Yeah,
Yes, and at their age it would also not be a bad thing, if they were dependent. That's also just the circle of life. Okay, so here is the definition: relying on others for support. And the opposite of that is independent, not relying on others for support. So can you tell me, in what ways are you dependent on your parents?
well, I'm dependent because they help cook the food that we ate. And sometimes I do, and normally my mom do the laundry and maybe some other chores for us. Well, of course we helped her, but in always she always do more than us.
Yes. Okay. And can you tell me, can you give an example of maybe there's someone who's dependent on you? It could be for
Mm,
something small even. It could be a friend at school, or it could be in
uh,
your family.
my pet. My pet does
Yes,
not depend on me because if I don't give them food, they will die
yes. So you say my pet depends. Um,
on me.
depends. So it's the subject verb agreement. If the subject is singular, I depend, you depend, they depend. Sorry, plural and I and you. And if it's singular, he, she depends, I, you, they depend. Okay. Okay. So I want you to choose the right meaning here. Which one is correct?
Okay, so the first one. Independence is an important skill for children to learn when they leave leave what? Let me take a look. When they leave home.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I think the answer will be let me think. Independent depending depending on oneself. And number
Yes.
two, he feels confident to express his opinions freely to anyone. Uh, confident. I think it will tell what they think.
Yes, when you express your opinion, that's right.
Number three, as a student, you need to put more emphasis on study. I think it will be pay special attention to because you're a student. And number four, I will either go to Shanghai or is it Shanghai?
Shanghai?
And or
I think it's Hangzhou. I think so.
Hangzhou. I've never heard of that name either. I will go to one of these two places.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So um, emphasis, say with me, emphasis.
Emphasis.
It is to put focus on something or to put stress on something. So if I say you you must not go there, but if I say you must not go there, can you hear that one word is emphasized? You must not go there. You must not go there.
I think it will be not.
Yes. So that is putting emphasis on a word. You can put emphasis on a word or on a syllable, but it can also be to put a focus on something. All right. So another way to use it is the teacher emphasized that the students must not write on the tables. So she said this to them many times, and she said this to them loudly. I think I'm sharing my week with you. Okay. So I want you to use the words in sentences. Independence.
Independence.
Mm.
Uh, this character in the movie is too independence, and because he have no parents, he's an orphan.
Okay, so he's too independent. Now, independence is a noun.
All right.
Yes, and you've heard that countries celebrate Independence Day, right?
Oh, right. With a
Yes.
well, from a boy to a man.
Yes, in a way, yes. Okay, so she values her independence. That's why she does not want to share a house and have roommates. Okay, that sounds a bit like values her privacy. Mm, she values her independence. She does not want you to make reservations for her. She wants to make her own reservations, something like that. Mm.
Uh, doesn't
She's
make any sense.
she
Kind of copy yours.
mm, she
Uh,
uh she showed independence by applying for a job on her own, or yeah, something like that. I want you to use it one more time for me.
okay. She values her independence and uh, values her independence and I think and don't and boy and rent a house herself.
Yes, or my little brother is starting to show independence. Yesterday he packed his own school lunch.
Oh,
Okay.
a long time for my brother to do so.
Okay. To express your opinion, I think we're going over the time a few minutes. So I do want to assign some homework for you. I want you
Okay.
to write. So I want you to use the vocabulary words. Let's see, which ones will we choose? I'm going to put that in the memo for you so you will know which ones to use. And with these words, I want you to write a short vocabulary story. So it is about 1 page, and I want you to include all of the words. And we will use, I think some from, did I close? Oh, I closed the previous one, but I think we have enough here. Okay, I'm going to choose, yes, social, take part, take for granted. Okay,
Okay.
and no, there are more. And independence, express opinions, emphasis. So those are, I think, six words or and expressions. Yes, to
Okay.
form.
Okay.
Mm. Okay, so I think that it's okay to choose your own topic, but I think that you can choose, but I think it should maybe also be related to social skills. That
Social
will
skill.
be easier to social development and or to family. Mm.
Okay. I'll try my best.
Yes. Okay. And do you know how to use paragraphs?
Paragraphs.
Mm.
Not really.
Okay. So what we do when we write is we write an introduction. Writing paragraphs. Okay. Okay. So, oh, wow, that's not how you spell paragraphs. So what it means is a paragraph is a group of sentences about the same topic. We will write an introduction. So this gives the reader just a quick idea of what they will read about, what the
Okay.
content will be about. But this is a mistake that my students often make. They might start by today I will talk about, and then list. That is not really how we start an introduction. We could maybe start with something like family life can be complicated and interesting. Families have their ups and downs, and then you start giving examples, and then you start a new paragraph. Maybe you can write a paragraph about your younger brother, about your parents, and in a conclusion you can write about how we are all happy together as a family and everybody has their responsibilities and their roles. So introduction and the body, this can be maybe 2 paragraphs is okay for this, 2 paragraphs. I think so. 2 or 3. Introduction. Oh, my typing is horrible today. The body is usually 2 to 4 paragraphs, but you don't need to write 4.
I can't write 4.
This is about the structure for a standard school essay and the conclusion. So this is basically to sum up, except don't use the words to sum up. Unless you're writing a science essay, you could do that in your exam, to sum up, but I wouldn't use those words directly. Okay. Do you have any questions for me about this?
No, I think.
All right, let's take it from here and we'll see how it goes, right?
Okay.
Okay. So good luck with that and good night. And next week, I think next week I won't be available. I will see you the following week. Okay. All right. Or I will talk to you. I will talk to your mom. I might be able to see you earlier in the day. I just need to check. We've got something coming up for Halloween with the school, so I need to go and celebrate Halloween with the students.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good night.
Good night, teacher. Goodbye, teacher.
Bye.